What is the business of art?
Uh, um, yeah, by the way, you have an owl in the background. Just letting
An
you know.
owl?
Yeah,
Owl?
there's an owl going off in the background. So when you listen it back, you'll hear. Um,
So noise, some kind
yes.
of visual thing.
Um, I think it's such a touchy subject because the the creation of art has been such a um emotional and contested emotional and also like a contested thing about what is the idea of art. Um, and I think when you start to bring business into it, uh, it adds another dimension and difficulty to it. So that is my theory about why the business of art has no clear outline or is so all over the place or haphazard. That's my theory. I could be wrong, but I think the article you sent about um like the different levels of how money could be made in the art world, like art residencies, art camps, art itself, um the curate, all of those different realms of what it could be. It was a good direction though, to think about what the business of art could be. Um, so I thought that was a good point to start.
There's a lot of background noise. I want to apologize to the viewers as well for that. Yeah, I don't know. I never find none of the articles interesting. It just kind of it kind of just cover things that we already know. I guess there was nothing new. In fact, I actually had to move beyond those and started to look at just other things, even things that have nothing to do with business. And that's how I came up with the questions that I sent to the group, because I really started to think about this space, right, Jamaica, and what are the difficulties doing business here, right, as it pertains to art. Um, just to respond to what you just said, I think the reason why the business of art is such a conundrum, again,
Yeah.
is because there is no one there is no one model that can be that can be used across the board, right? In other words, what works for America wouldn't necessarily work for us because we don't have as much resources um, for the creators. So therefore, it's a much smaller, condensed, close-knit economy, right? Just a handful of collectors and a handful of creators. I was thinking about something. What percentage of the population you think practice art?
um
Right? So let's say the population is 3 million, right? Let's just use that. What percentage of that
well
you think?
it's funny we start there because first it's how do we define art, right? I think everybody at some point in Jamaica has has done art.
Mm-hmm.
Hi. right, so how are
What's up?
you, so
You
can't hear
might mute.
you. You might mute. You might
Yeah,
mute.
yeah, you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, man, so me have some connection issue. Right now, my phone, me have to log on, pan, cause
Your phone camera better than whatever it is that you
Wow. Me I tell you.
before. Look how we see the man clear one. You never
yeah,
even know you wear glasses. No, we couldn't see you. Anyways, thanks for joining, Mr. Watson. Christina, don't lose the thought. Just continue.
Yeah.
We'll do introductions later.
One knockout hell behind you.
Sure, the neighbor man, I tell you man, Jamaica, you're just a noisy place, you know. Jeez.
finger gone and nothing.
I think you're gonna have to put a disclaimer before it start that we are in Jamaica. Where the pan always a knock. But yeah, it's first like how do we define it? And I think at some point everybody has expressed has made a mark. If you're going to go by just the basic that um mark making is expression or art, then I think a
Uh,
large population has 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 made marks, has done mark making at least.
all right, just the people who practice it as a profession. Then,
Practice as a profession.
right.
I
We
think,
narrow it down to that.
oh Lord, as I guess, I think maybe as small as a vaccine, how much first dose I will have, like a very small percentage, or smaller than that, or smaller than that.
All right. So, Mr. Watson, the question is, let me just bring it in the loop. The question I asked Christina was, what percentage of the population in Jamaica does she think practice art? So, if we said the population is 3 million, what percentage of that you think practice art?
But based on how I would have want to define art, I would have say a greater percentage of the population does practice art because art, transcend, as Christina was saying, and it just mark making is everything, and it means that if you were to sit and make decision, as I said, to craft ideas that would resolve any issue, that for me that factors into art as well. And if you want to look at it that way, it means that everybody, is into creating, right? Creating something one way or the other. It doesn't have to be making picture or carving or anything of the sort. It can be just about your life. It's how you will resolve the situation that pertains to your life, and how you make the decision. So everybody is involved.
The reason why I asked Christina that question about, what percentage. No, answer the question, but
Yeah, but
um, no,
I think
well,
I said I think I said about less than 4%, but
less
I
than
will.
4%.
It's so hard to define that, as you said, because yeah, of how we define it. It's so hard to say. Is it 4%? Is it? But I guess that's a part of the conundrum.
All right, so 1% of 1% of 3 million is 30,000. So if you say 4%, then that would mean say 120,000 people in Jamaica. If we are working with the 3 million population number,
but
right?
you
So
cannot estimate though.
no, you can. I mean, I don't think it would be 120,000 people. Let's just say that. So I think maybe I would I would say definitely less than 1%. I don't think there are 30,000 people practicing in Jamaica. And you have to take into consideration how many practitioners are in the field, are in the profession, when you're thinking about the economy and how the art economy works in Jamaica, right? So if you have less than 1,000 people practicing, right? Which is a to me is a big exaggeration. 'Cause I think it's actually less than 100 strong, right? But let's say you have 1,000 people practicing, then that will dictate how the economy works. And if
in
we're trying to
And that's just formal,
come
to be
again,
honest.
in any 1 year we only have 100 practicing.
no, I'm talking overall. I'm talking how many people have practiced overall.
I
In,
think
in
it's more than that.
it's a lot
How,
more.
yeah, all right, you want to say 500 then?
All right. I don't know what 500, but all right. Look at, for instance, just look at how many people try to enter the annual exhibition each year. How many people enter the
We don't know
JC?
that. We don't know that.
We
Those
don't know,
numbers aren't
but,
made to us.
but we know it's
Made
a,
known.
we know it's a whole heap.
We don't know that neither. What you call holy?
Yeah, it's a lot.
What you
Okay.
call holy?
I
No, the
I
point of me I make.
photographed 1 year, and the amount of entries that I had to photograph per what you call it, per parish was a lot of work.
Which exhibition?
The JCDC, the
All
am
right.
I saying that?
All right.
JCB annual exhibition, any other exhibition that happen, and you have some people who double up, but at the same time you have different people who enter different exhibition. All of those things that happen each year.
So it's fair if you say 1,000 then. We can't say
It's
1,000.
I think it's more than 1,000.
You can't say 2,000.
I think it's a
We're
hundred. I
including
think it's a
fine
hundred
artists.
thousand.
100,000. You think so?
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
Look at
All
the
right.
man
Let's.
doing thing on the north coast, on the street side, and all them thing there. We don't count them
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
Let,
To one yeah, itching them head.
all right. 100,000. All right. 100,000. So we have 100,000 practitioners in the creative industry, right? Um, the problem with that is, and this is the point I may make, is we're consistently trying to emulate a Western model, an American and European model that caters to millions, right? If you it, and I'm not saying there's a million artists in America or Europe, which I think there is actually thinking about it. But the market kind of set in such a way where it's difficult for us with such a small group of creators to really take advantage of a model like the American model, right? So
When you
so
talk about Jamaica,
you're right. Me I talk about Jamaica.
well, maybe we can guess at a broader scope. So probably shouldn't just look at Jamaica, but look at what happens around the world.
Well, there's a reason why I'm not owning from Jamaica still.
All right, well,
Um,
okay.
not a lot of discussion about how the economy of the industry is set up and how we evaluate the price of works and how we yeah understand there are certain things that I feel aren't talked about and it might add to the discussion about how we can go forward in developing the economy of Jamaican art. You understand? For example, if how can I gauge the value of my work if I have absolutely no idea what the top selling artist works are valued at? Right? That's just one aspect of it. But me just put that out there. Oh, me I go determine that. Me have to go depend on a third party to do that for me. To value my work and put it out there.
But it's also because of the absence of that skill coming out of the art school too. Because the art school should have been equipping people, to be making this kind of assessment. We don't have how many people come out of the art school that we can say are writers who can write because they have art school experience and therefore know We don't have that. We don't have people out there who know what the industry is about, and therefore would be able to comment on it and therefore inform other people, is something I say. So maybe it is here we having this conversation, or it is here that we have to make the decision and say, you know what, we are going to see how we can involve, how we can be involved, and how we can get other people involved in the different levels of the art business, because we are creators. I mean, me hate having to deal with anything but making the art, right? But we know, so we need the people who are going to represent you. We need them, right? We don't have them so much, and the ones that we have, a lot of the ones that we have are crooked enough, and everybody know that you should avoid them. So we need to cultivate more within the space, and that is that is the malady of what the art business is. We don't have enough people to deal with all the areas that need to be dealt with, and the art school to need to have areas. I mean, I don't know what does arts management. I don't know what it does. We know that within just we have what the course that what is name taught again, art criticism and something.
Critical
Right, right, that one.
writing. What was the
But
word? Critical analysis. I think that was
yeah,
it.
we don't have anybody coming from there who learn from that and decide that they are going to, take up that as a profession. We don't have the National Gallery grooming people, to take enter into that kind of profession. Them think them are expert enough and can and deal with it, but it's not so. We need more people who will be involved.
Um, I appreciate that you bring out all of those players or stakeholders that should be a part of the growth. I'm happy you bring up Edna, because it is true. If we're not having that one interest and also that capacity build out from there, then what all we're going to have is just a bunch of artists coming out. We're not going to have people who are going to be players in other parts of the field. And then it's going to be lopsided as, okay, yeah, we'll have all these people who create, but then do we have all these people who are going to support in other ways? As to how, remember we did a talk about building out spaces and people that can support artists in other ways, with the same interest. And a lot of things were firing off in my head, and I never write them down because they were just firing off. But the arts management course, I remember when we were at Edna, I kept saying that, wow, it would be so nice for the arts managers to also come to our critiques or also come to our art exhibitions, like as a part of their course or a part of their initial interest. Because I think that if they're a part of those discussions and they leave, at least we would have the interest of people who are ready to support, because they understand arts management is like the business of art. It's understanding the business of art. So we would already have those people to support us in that way. I think the only person I know from arts management right now, and I could be wrong, but the only person I know after I left was Kimale, who had interest in visual arts, as opposed to the others who were interested in music because of the potential earnings. Sorry, one answer by me. Potential earnings of those sectors of the art industry, right? Which is people are going to just automatically move to where they can see them rent paid. And obviously there is hype and interest in if you're managing the next top artist. Like everybody has that interest.
Right, just make clear,
Um,
she talking musicians, everybody, not
musicians.
visual artists. Nobody
No,
know how to
no.
manage visual artists.
Nobody comes over to that school, and I find it something that if the school had sort of um encourage, and back to the collaboration, encourage those spaces from there where we get those people to come in and they have interest. For example, the curators course, arts management people should be able to can get into that course and see and have discussion with people in there, right? And I think those are the disconnects. I remember when we were at Edna, um Onika Russell, Amira, I think Philip Thomas as well had, and Cheddar had started these workshops where they sat us down and talked to us about the residency programs that were available and how to get into like we were having those discussions. I'm not sure if they continued. I think they did continue, but I think that is something that could support artists in thinking about what other realms um, of the arts you can participate in. So that was one. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about is if artists are just coming out of the space just with bachelors and not having, just as a minimum, not having direction as to where you can go to continue education in Jamaica, then we're going to have a problem where people are not pushing the thought process beyond the bachelor's and associate. And so we're not going to have people thinking deeper or in other potentials of what art could be. Um, I think now that you have creative industry at UE, but that's a new course. So for it to even be a new course in Jamaica is something to say that this idea of the business and understanding the business and applying different business models to the creative sector is something that is new, and that is kind of sad, because arts management has been around from media Edna. So I think Edna has to start thinking about really putting a fine art master's program, building. I don't know if they're thinking about it, but they really need to think about either tacking on to another university. It doesn't have to be in the US, it can be outside of the US, to really think about mastery. And where mastery comes out, then people will start to write about art. Because right now, you cannot get in a program and you don't know how to write about your work. That's all I have to say.
All right. Me not have the reason thing, so me have a button because me not see it on my phone. But one of the way to, cause we have to commandeer the space now. We have to go to the arts management people and say, hear me, I want you to deal with our thing a certain way. I mean, just to sort of perk their interest. Because if you look at, as you say, we require. There was a time in my life when me never want nobody to, what you call, nobody to represent me. The the where there's an exclusive kind of relationship. Me never want that. I desire that now because I know over the years that I am not equipped to deal with selling my work and making see me. I get one thing here from where there somebody has send, they want me send picture because they have a book, some Caribbean book, I think come out of Cuba, and they want me to be in there. And I mean, should I jump on the thing and get it done? And every time you keep saying tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. But if you have somebody who represent your interests a certain way, that done long time, isn't it? So we need to help. We need to help the industry in the sense now where we're going to motivate some of these people from arts management or wherever to enter into these associate fields of art. So now we have the critic. I mean, not like critic, but those kind of people you can talk about the work from a cultural perspective, and that kind of sense. People can sell your importance to the rest of the world. I mean, you gonna know your importance, but people can sell it. So we need this kind of people. And as we said, the business is so wide.
Yeah, I'm glad to bring in Edna as well. Um, that was I'm glad you did that. I have 3 questions, if I can remember all of them. Where can one? Is there a place to continue your education in Jamaica after you leave art school? I don't think so.
You mean art education?
Hmm. Unless you
No,
go to cultural studies.
no. Well, yes, but there was. Well, the answer is no. That I know. But there was a push at one point to start this master's program in collaboration with the University of the West Indies. I think people like Brian McFarlane was involved, and I don't know who else. And over the years, they hear talk, and this is where the clandestine word might be appropriate. But you hear talk here and there, but it never came to fruition. There have been some long time some exchange program where I think we could have built from there. There are no.
That's where I was going next, because I know for a fact, I always hear that there was a big exchange program with multiple schools abroad where
Well,
there, you sent.
with Maryland Institute, them used to send down
And
people.
Massachusetts, University of Massachusetts, right? That's how it's pronounced.
I'm not so sure about the University of Massachusetts, but we know Brian was very, involved in something.
Yeah.
But I know for sure that there was the exchange program with the Maryland Institute College of Art, and people used to come down there, and there were other people who was involved, and I don't know why it went dormant. And I had inquired out one because me to go at Maryland, and I had inquired how to get it started, but it never go further than the inquiry.
Uh,
But
uh,
we should continue these things.
all right, Mago, stop talk with one. May end it with one question. Is Edna failing? Is Edna Manley College failing?
Christina, your hand up.
Mr. Watson is so surfy. You know why? For answer them question about this is a conflict of interest.
Now, at the boat, how do me ask you? Ask you, is Edna failing?
All right. I personally, I would have said no, only because it is the only institution and we don't have anything to judge it against. We know that there are some areas that they could do better in, and need to be nudged a little
Hold on, man. What do you mean? Well, we can't judge it against other institutions
in a
Again,
elsewhere.
Jamaica. In a
Elsewhere. Not
Jamaica.
not to be in a you don't compare
it could
Jamaican things to
also be
you
in in
compare it
in
on
the
a global
Caribbean
scale.
too. In the Caribbean, there's another school in the Caribbean.
Come
Um,
on,
I
no
think it's a Dutch.
global. Africa globe. We have to compare it to what is the global standard for art college.
We can try, but
I
to
have
go there.
issues doing that. You know why I have issues doing that? Because obviously they're going to have a curriculum that supports their art economy, right? Obviously they're going to have that supports it. But our economy is so different to judge it against. Like, we can never model it off of theirs and say we should carry that here, because it may not be the needs of the economy. It may not sit here well. It's just like how we use we get the car them, and then the tire them when we get to it a snow tire, and they can't work at Jamaica, right? It's it can't work at Jamaica.
Yeah, yeah. And I was
So
saying something similar before. But I have to intervene though. You see, the thing is,
So that's why I was saying to use other schools in the Caribbean, because they may have some, for one, historical similarities, political similarities, to sort of use that as different benchmarks. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah. But you see, my thing wasn't. I was not saying that we should model our school,
Hold on,
right?
Tuani. Hold on. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
plane and land. Let's make the plane
Oh,
land.
oh,
Gone. It's gone. You can
my
talk.
dear's gone.
Don't talk. It gone. The plane has
Okay,
been.
all right. We just cut that out. All right. So, right. What I was saying was not to model Edna of international other schools in other spaces. I'm just saying when you look at other schools and look at the length and breadth of the curriculum and what it offers, right? They're taking a lot of things into consideration, right? And at the end of the day, if Edna is trying to convince art students that they're offering a competitive world-class education in the arts, then it has to be inclusive of things that is happening around the world and not just confined to what's happening here in the Caribbean space. It has to look at all the things that are happening and how other schools uh, um are taking advantage of their circumstances. I don't really think Edna has been doing that for the longest while. Um, to play devil's advocate though, I think the what is the name of that course? The curator's course.
Introduction to
Introduction to
curatorial studies.
curatorial studies, right? I think that was a brilliant move. Um, I don't know. I
Did you
don't
do the
know.
course?
No, I didn't do it. But this
Why?
is but this is what you were saying earlier. Some people will just want to be artists, but others can probably think about tru- tru- um becoming a curator, right?
That's what I've been saying.
Right. So at least offer the course, offer the possibility then. Because if it's not there, then people won't do it. I found out about curatorial studies was after our time, Christina. It wasn't during our
No,
time.
I did
You
that
did
course.
curatorial studies? Oh,
Yep,
well,
yep,
I wouldn't do it
I did.
anyways. I have no
Remember,
interest.
it was in when I did that course. It was in the same time. And I say, yo, 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 and we did do raw yard.
Right. We
Remember?
did the raw
It
yard,
was,
yeah.
it was what it yeah, and then we
Okay.
did the student
Yeah.
exhibition. Yeah.
All right. But
But
guess
no
what?
student was
That
objecting to it because them never like them never get along well with Beerley.
well, that's for
Ah,
them business.
yeah.
I mean, look, at least that was something that I thought was a good move by the school, right? You know what they need to do now? They need to start to think seriously about exchange programs. Them need for diversify the type of courses that they offer. Because I still think that the school on a whole is very uh what the word? It's very
Archaic.
I, I know. Yeah, I was trying not to be too mean because there are
Yeah,
certain words
I'm
that
not
come to
being
mind. But
mean. I'm
the
not
school
being
is
mean.
very,
I'm just trying to find a word for Tuani.
yeah,
It's not just the school, you know, it's the country that is letting the school down, you know, because
right.
to
Well,
begin
that's true.
right.
That's
So the
true. But
because
but but as critical thinkers, right?
mm,
And sometimes we can't allow the condition of the country to dictate our principles and how we position ourselves. We have to move beyond that and do things, make them see. Maybe we can push the country to be better.
all right, my thing, you know, where the school is concerned, me think the school lack a philosophy. You see, we have always we have all. Let's take for instance in
And too
art.
much politics.
Yeah, we always seem to want to criticize and look at our work in relation to what is happening everywhere else, but culturally we are different. So there are different canons of criticism, and we have ways of doing things, and we have not made the attempt to develop our own. So when we meet art, we know art making of art is influenced by culture, right? And therefore, what influence the work that we do. So if we are going to behave in a certain way, but at the same time we are looking at our work from the eyes of the Europeans or the Americans, then we can't stand up, because we are not the same kind of person. We don't behave the same way. We're not influenced the same way. So these are also other things that we have to look at in terms of what we do. And I mean, I want to come down as hard on School of Art as you are, but I think there are improvements. And while me did say the country, is because I recognize that there are things that can be done. But the moment some things start to happen or start to be introduced, the students are going to have to pay. Now I'm going to be able to afford it. The school not going to have the money, so resource is going to be a problem. And already we will be looking at the School of Art not existing. You know that the Cubans, for instance, you know that there's a program to take over the art school, and Cuban was leading it. There was a group of people coming there and was looking at and so it was going to be run by some Caribbean body, but led by the Cubans. I mean, me the kind of object, because people talk about Cuban art and all that. I mean, I know that Cuban art is any more progressive. Me know that them do things and given their circumstance, they produce out of that. But
I
I don't
don't
know.
think it was about Cuban art. I think it was just about business, privatizing the school and charge big money. I think that's what it was.
So I only said that because they were looking at the Cubans to lead the Cuban not involved, so the Cuban going to lead art business or art school in Jamaica.
Who was looking at the Cubans? The government?
I would have to say the government or whoever the powers be, because me tell you, there was a group of Cubans who came there already and was going to the school and was looking at that stuff, and that was the talk. They may even suggest that Hart take over the art school and all them things there at one point.
You mean
So
art trust?
yes. So you understand, and I would have to say those would have been small-minded people who don't see the value of the art school and who would have go to that level. Me respect our heart still, in terms of what them do, but I don't know in terms of the art school that it should have been their business. But we stand the possibility of losing the art school, and it might be dependent on where the money is coming from.
Christina, I'm sorry, but me have to interject just 1 second. So make you go. So Watson,
Eh,
earlier when I was talking about what percentage of the population are practitioners of the arts, you wanted to lump everybody in as
yeah.
one. So what's the objection to art trust taking over art school?
No, all right. As we said, me respect what Hart does, and they do their own creative thing in. But I think in terms of where we want to look at our art as opposed to HEART, in terms of how we want to see our art and how we want to participate and contribute on a world level, I think at the time Hart would not have been the institution to run the art school.
I'm going to support you, Mr. Watson. I'm going to support you. For years, Hart has had many different management, many different philosophies, many different all kind of something, whatever. To know them name NTA, NSTA, whatever Hart. I don't think that we would have gotten to a point because I think they already are trying to figure out how Hart supports Jamaica and really double down on what it means to make that work for Jamaicans. I don't know if putting Edna under their umbrella, only for the fact that they have issues, managerial issues, and like working out how that contributes to Jamaica. Not for the fact, not because of what they're making, but just how they train people, how they manage people. At one point, you know that Heart was training a lot of people in like skill based, like um
Everything.
woodworking,
Mechanic.
yeah, but specifically in like the in creating, they had a lot of spaces they were giving people opportunity and so on. So I do think there's something there, but a lot of those places have closed down. A lot of those places have closed down. Um, to say that there's something wrong with the way they are operating, or maybe it's just because maybe they're the changeover board and changeover government who is running them or whatever. I don't know, but um, I think there's something there to have them be a part of Edna. Maybe not completely running it, but because there's so much facets of art, I think there could have been some collaboration with art in a way that was beneficial to Jamaica, or the interests of art in Jamaica.
They had an art program, you know. They even had started a mural design program.
Mm,
We don't see anybody coming out of it. Well, I don't know based on what is happening now if anybody from their program is involved. But they had started something, and there's a reason why they would have started something. It's maybe to convince people that they can run the art school, but it never happened. The thing is, you know, over the years, both in terms of art education and in terms of art practice, we have had people who sit down and decide they're going to put curriculum together. But they put curriculum together not having any understanding of who we are and where we are, and again making the comparison. So when they put the curriculum together, they are looking outside of us, and therefore
right.
it doesn't always work. So
And
we need to look. Yeah, go ahead, go
hello,
ahead,
it kind
go
of
ahead.
freeze. I
Yes.
think we can look, because I see now, especially like JBDC is looking to um um West Africa for like ideas about textiles and including culture in it. Um, so we can look outside to a neighbor that may not necessarily operate in the same way as us, or for example the US. I don't know if the US is the best place to look, because it doesn't fit in the best way possible in terms of culture and how we express in terms of oral traditions, just how we operate in our space. Um, so we can look to, is it the east? Should I say the east? It's not the east. We can
Africa.
look to Africa, and also like Middle East and India and all those different places. That's not what I had my hand up, but I totally forget, so I'm gonna stop now.
What is the business of art? What is the business of art? This describe it in the best way possible for you. What it means to you? Where you under? What is the business of art for you?
For you're talking any one of us, or you're talking
Both
Chris?
of you, the both of you.
I suppose first I'd love to be able to define what business is. Business include all those activity that will allow you to create and to earn and to live is the same thing we expect with art. You're going to if earning is the end result, then we want to be able to earn from whatever art activity we are doing. So again, in order to have a package of what the art business is, we have to look at all areas that would be involved in the art business. And we have a tendency in Jamaica to look down on people who do other things and determine that that is not art. And we have to be careful, because even some of the big art movement come out of craft, craft indulgence, for instance. So if we look at all the things that we do that would regard as art, and if we look at the end result, what we want from what we do, whether it be from a emotional satisfaction or financial, then that's the business we're talking about.
Okay. So some do it for emotional gain, some do it for financial gain.
Um, I, I think, I think that was one of the things I had. I was just reading and I was like, what the hell is this damn thing? I think it involves all the moving parts of the creative expression. I think that's just what I think it is. All the moving parts, the stakeholders, all the education, all the moving parts of the creative expression. That's just what I think it is.
I mean, that's all like I describe the industry. That's all like I describe an industry. But what is the business of art?
There's the activity and there's the exchanges and
The buying and selling of work.
That's all the moving parts. That's all of it.
The buying and selling of work.
No, but all right. So
there's more to it than just the buying and selling of art.
Why people get into business?
To make money.
To service. Well, with the
make
money.
yeah. Just but creating a service for the benefit of the people, and of course you're going to make money from that. So art is no different. If you look at it from a business perspective, you're going to go in there and you're going to create some satisfaction for some people, some service, and you're going to make some money, because guess what? Where business is concerned, the business have to survive, and unless you earn somewhere else to be able to afford art, then it's not going to be a business. It's going to be a vocation, and we're talking about vocation. I talk way to fun, kind of thing.
But I don't only think of it as when an artist exchange their work for money.
The creating of the work, the selling of the work, the buying of the work, the maintaining of the work, the presentation of the work, the restoration
of the work.
Interest.
You have to say that,
There's
no why?
financial.
You know why? Yeah, of course. How can there not be a financial aspect?
No, I'm talking about things that directly correlate to like a financial gain, right?
But that does.
Interest alone. Yeah, but I mean that buying and selling already kind of cover that.
But there's a gain in whatever respect. There's a gain when you do it for with the expectation that something going to come from it. You're going to gain something from it. And as we say, whether it's going to be financial or emotional or whatever, that will determine what the business is. All of those activity and the outcome and the expectations. And sometimes it is not always money. It is not always money. There are other things that is required.
Money is the most important part right now. I don't think. Listen, we have all of the interests. We have the will. We have the potential. We have everything. People have told us that. They're not stop telling us that we have the potential. No, we want the money. All right, Mr. Watson. Thank you for joining me, Christina. Thank you for joining me. I won't even do no outros because I have to run.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
by the way, who know on the rain? Who know on the storm? I go.
We will
drizzle every
tell
now and
we will tell you that on Sunday night.
Uh,
then.
we have rain
Or
from when?
next
Right now
week
we
if
have
we
rain.
reach. If else
If
I
it
don't
rain,
blow away.
yeah.
Right now
And,
it's bright skies.
yeah, we dark. We have rain from when?
All right, man, I'm gonna stop it right here. So.
Yeah, man.